The objective of this episode is to help new club presidents, new coaches, and new team managers find the information that they need to know for the upcoming indoor club season. As we saw in the first episode, it is important to always look at the latest news section for upcoming information. However, I will spend most of my time in this video in the indoor tab. So we do have information for our club administrators in the indoor tab, as well as in the leadership tab. We have our yearly awards, as well as important information for coaches. And we also have important information for club administrators in the about tab, more specifically our policies and our insurance page. The purpose of this video, though, I will spend this time in the indoor tab, going through the club, general info, signing policy, find a club, find a hotel, draws and results, and tournaments page. So placing the pointer over indoor and going to our general info page. On this page, this is the one-stop shop for everything indoor club. You can see that for administrators at the very top of our page, we've published some resources on how to start a club, some best practices for club, and as the general info contact, I do get a lot of membership inquiries about our regions and zone map. So it is posted at the very top of our page. A lot of members, when they go to register, they're asked in what zone or what region they live, and the confusing ones are definitely zone 5 and 6 and zone 2 and 3. And the way to look at this map is that we have the zone 6 has an arrow pointing to Edmonton. And so 6 is for Edmonton residents only, and 5 is for the surrounding areas of Edmonton. Same goes with region 2 and 3. 3 here has the arrow going to Calgary, so zone 3 is Calgary, and 2 is the surrounding areas of Calgary. We've also written it on the side here to make it obvious for members to know if they are in the surrounding areas of Calgary or if it is Calgary specific, and same for the Edmonton. The next step that a lot of parents are asking is, what age class do I register my daughter or my son in? And so we have published the age categories, and Volleyball Alberta follows the Volleyball Canada age categories. And so we have listed ours, and we have also linked the Volleyball Canada document with their year's national age categories. And on our general info page, we do have some different sections, and I would recommend that as a new administrator, you familiarize yourself with all of the links we have on our website. Anything that is blue is typically hyperlinked. It'll either direct you to a new web page, opening a new tab and bringing you to more information, or it'll open up a PDF. The document that should be read cover to cover for any new administrator is the season planner. So once a year, Volleyball Alberta will publish a season planner with that year's competition regulations, as well as all of the important information to know to find our tournament schedule, our eligibility, signing policies, tryouts, membership information, as well as competition regulations and information on each age class. And so this is definitely an important document for every club administrator and coach to have and to have read from cover to cover. If you are familiar with the Volleyball Alberta season of play and you are simply looking to find new information, what is different from last season to this season, Volleyball Alberta does have a new 4 document, and so you can always come to this just for a quick glance to see what has changed specifically from last year to this year. I won't be going through each tab in depth, but just to know that they are there, we have our season planner and competition regulations, and we have some other important links here. As a club administrator, it is also very important that you know that we have our athlete and team staff forms linked. These are documents that need to be completed and returned back to you to be kept on file for 1 year. Another important section for club administrators is the screening policies section. So do familiarize yourself with the Volleyball Alberta screening policy. There is a PDF for you to open to read through, take out all the information. We also have a Volleyball Alberta screening process. Here you can find more information on how long is the Sterling My Back check valid for, and what are the steps that you need to take to submit your information to Volleyball Alberta. And so I'll quickly go through those tabs, showing you the Volleyball Alberta screening disclosure form. This is the one that needs to be completed once a year and returned to that designated screening contact. And so the screening disclosure form needs to be completed. In this example, it is a 4-page document that is a fillable PDF, which should then be either saved and emailed back to your club administrator, or if you choose to print it and return it, I guess it would be best to ask in which format your club has asked to receive these documents. Volleyball Alberta does ask to screen the club director or the screening designate, and so the form that one main contact needs to complete is this club director screening. And so the person that has been assigned the responsibility to do all of their coaches checks, Volleyball Alberta will do a verification of your documents. And so we do ask that you upload your police information check documents, and if you've completed them through the Sterling My Back check, making sure that you have shared them with the Volleyball Alberta headquarters, and then also including the date in which you signed the screening disclosure form, and we are asking you to upload your documents here. So for the screening designates only, we do ask that you upload your documents to us, and upon the Volleyball Alberta review, we will have an approvals process, and once approved, that then gives you the go-ahead to be able to do the verifications for all of your club coaches and administrators. Once you've received your approval and it is time for you to submit your coach's information into Volleyball Alberta, it is in this Volleyball Alberta Club sign-off sheet. So the top of this section is where the club designate will put their information, and then they will go through for each individual that they have seen their documents and they have verified. They are submitting the information to Volleyball Alberta by inputting it into this form. So it is a form that needs to be submitted on a per individual basis. And for the club sign-off sheet, we are not asking for the club designate to upload the documents to us, simply to record the dates in which they have signed the yearly disclosure form and when they have seen the date stamp in which the screening was completed. And Volleyball Alberta, on a go-forward basis, starting in 2018, we do have it mandatory that all screenings are completed through Sterling Talent Solution, My Back Check. And so to complete, you can click on the Sterling logo to be redirected to the Volleyball Alberta Sterling landing page. If you don't see your club listed in the locations, you can always scroll through to select the Volleyball Alberta headquarters. To avoid any delays in starting the process, the Volleyball Alberta headquarters can be chosen. An individual can click to start their check and proceed through. The club administrator should then contact Volleyball Alberta by emailing info@volleyballalberta.ca, requesting to have their club added to the club locator. Once this is done, the individual can then share their results with clubs from year to year. So each individual will then receive a login where it is their responsibility to then share their results with the clubs that need it from year to year. The next section on our general info page, as a club administrator, you will be looking for tournament information. And so Volleyball Alberta has been publishing a one-page kind of quick glance Volleyball Alberta indoor tournament schedule. So this is what the document looks for this year. You can see that we have 12 tournament weekends, and you're seeing the event dates, the age categories, the events, the locations, and the important dates. It is important to note that each event has its own set of important dates, so do make sure that you are paying attention to these dates. For example, for our first tournament, which is on the February 1-2 weekend for the 14Us, we have a registration deadline of January 6th. We have when the draw will be released, when the administrators need to log into their Goal Line account to make sure that their roster is complete and ready and to attend the upcoming tournament, as well as the date in which we need to have the police information check screening documents for all of the coaching staff. Under the tournament section, we'll also have some documents showing you the venues we have booked for each weekend. In addition to the Volleyball Alberta Premier and Provincial Championship Series, we also have some club-hosted tournaments, links to our national championship sites going to Volleyball Canada. And we have other resources showing what the official game ball is. I will do a specific video just on accommodations, but do know that Volleyball Alberta does partner with a housing provider to provide hotels for our teams to book through for Premier and Provincial Championships. We also have a partnership with Enterprise and National, which if your team needs to have a car rental for travels for a tournament, we do have a promo code and you can click to book with Enterprise or to book with Nationals. If your team is looking to have their team list printed on label, we also have a quick resource. The one that we found fits best on our score sheets is this Avery 5162. Look for that at your local office supply store, and then those labels can be prepared ahead of time, and then come game time, you can stick that sticker on the score sheet. Something else that a lot of the club administrators come to me for is the letter of good standing. So if your team is needing to travel outside of the country, it is a requirement to have a letter of good standing, which is a two-part verification. The first one starts with a Volleyball Alberta approval, and the process is that we need to verify the club information, making sure that all of the players have their competitive player membership roles and that for that year they have signed to be a part of the team that they plan on competing with in this out-of-country travel. And we also need to verify that all of the coaches listed on the coaching staff, team staff section has their coach memberships purchased as well. So the first section, Volleyball Alberta, will complete its approval. Once that's done, we will then forward it off to Volleyball Canada. The final signed letter will then be returned to you by email. Within 2 business days is typically the processing time. And lastly, I just wanted to quickly go through where some of the club administrators need to go to find information other than what is on the general information page. So if you are familiar with the Find a Club Locator tool, I redirect a lot of new parents to this site to come and find important information. And so if you need to update your club listing, please send us an email, and we always update it year to year from the information that is collected on the club president registration form. And so the club locator can be used with a postal code search. So for example, if we are entering in the Edmonton office, postal code, and we are clicking to apply, it will then narrow down the search, showing me the clubs that are in the Edmonton area. And to find additional information on all of these clubs by clicking on the club name, for example, if I want to find more information about FOG, clicking on FOG to load their contact card, and here I can see that they are in Edmonton. They have a link to their staff directory and a link to their website so that I can go and find more information about their teams offered, their tryouts, practices, gameplays, if they have information posted on their website about their fees. So this is where I would go to then find more information about the specific club. So the club locator tool is one that we would like to keep up to date, and so if any club administrator needs to update their listing, make sure to contact our office. Once we are into our season, we will have a lot of traffic on our draws and results page. This is where parents and coaches and club administrators come to find facility information prior to arriving. And so do make sure that if you are going to the University of Alberta, for example, or Rally Point or the Saville Centre, that you are just reading additional information about parking or anything that they have important notes prior to your arrival. For example, if we are a 13U girls team competing in Premier Number 1, we would click on the Premier Number 1 draw to load the draw package. We will have some pre-event information, and we have all of the teams listed that are playing in the tournament, but to look at the tournament draw itself, this is where you come to find your team. For example, Nukes, we see that they are in Pool A and they are number 2. And so you would then look at the schedule, you would look for A2, and you would see that they are playing at 8 o'clock in the morning on Court 1 at the Junior Varsity Center. So this is a quick overview of when it comes time to find your team, find your match times and the specific court and location. This is the document that you would come to. And lastly, as I had mentioned, we have a link to it in the general info page, but in addition to the Volleyball Alberta Premiers and Provincials, we do have club-hosted tournaments, and this is a page that anyone can come to find additional tournaments. All of the registration information would be included in the tournament ad. And so, for example, if you are wanting to register for a tournament, you would either have a link to register online directly with them or contact information. In addition to the information in the indoor tab for new club administrators, I did want to give a quick highlight under the leadership tab to highlight our Mikasa Achievement Awards. And so the Mikasa Achievement Awards are presented to athletes, coaches, and officials and volunteers who have made an outstanding contribution to volleyball in Alberta for the indoor club season. And so throughout the season, do keep in mind if you are thinking of nominating anyone, we have an awards banquet once a year, and we do have a application process, and so we do recommend that especially come time usually around provincials or around nationals, if you are ready to submit a nomination, we do ask that you fill out the online nomination form, submitting information per the criteria as asked. Also, for the indoor club season, it is important that all coaches are following the coaches certification criteria, and so making sure that you are familiar and that you are following the steps within your level of coaching. If you're looking to find more information about referees, do come to the referee section of the website. Lastly, I do want to spend some time in the About tab showing you the information under insurance. A lot of club administrators and coaches are asked to provide a certificate of insurance when booking their gyms, and so we do have all of the information on our insurance policy. We do have a document with our summary of coverage if you want to read more in depth our coverage and who our insurance provider is. But for the purpose of booking your gyms and needing to provide a certificate of insurance, we do have the information with a link asking that you please submit your certificate of insurance requests using this online request form. When you're on the request form, we do ask that you list either the municipality, the school board, or privately owned facility that requires to be added as additional insured by listing them by name and including their mailing address. We will issue one certificate of insurance per certificate of insurance holder. And so, for example, if the City of Calgary is requesting to have a certificate of insurance to book their schools, you would need to list the City of Calgary and find their general mailing address. The address, if it isn't provided in your rental agreement, can typically be found by doing a quick Google search. And so it is important to provide the name and mailing address, as we will have one certificate per certificate holder.